Welcome to Space Socket. A 34-year-old woman says she always controls men in her relationships. Kevin Samuel steps in to school her. Let's dive in.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Excuse my voice. I'm a football fan and I lost Sunday, but
All right.
I'm here.
How old are you?
34 as of yesterday.
Cool. So what do you got for me on the topic? We're talking about
All right.
trustworthiness, or do
Q&A.
you have a question?
Trustworthiness. I'll be on topic. So little backstory. Grew up poor. I do well for myself now. Didn't go to college. I'm an entrepreneur. No kids. 34. I think my weight is within a good range. So for me, trust stuff. I dated some people that were not necessarily truthful about being married or not, or their situations with that. I've gotten smarter in that field. But now what I run into are men who lie about maybe their financial status.
Or what do you want?
So definitely I would say high value man. And the
Do
reason
you
for
want to
that,
do you want to be married?
yes,
You want
yes,
children?
yes.
I
So
mean,
I would say I could do
how many kids?
either or.
You want kids or don't want them? It's rather important.
I would love to have a kid. Yeah.
Just one?
One.
Okay. Okay. What state are you in?
I've been in Baltimore a year and a half from Los Angeles and about to move to Atlanta next year.
All right. So high value. Is this because of your socioeconomic status? Why high value man?
Because in the past I've dated guys who maybe didn't have the same financial lifestyle that I've now grown into.
Hmm.
And they tend to try to compete with me. And
Well, after you're married, after you're married, do you still want to work?
yes,
Okay.
I love
What? Oh, okay. What percentage of the family financial load do you want to have to be responsible for a lifetime?
given the lifestyle that I would love to have, I would say 50%. I'd be okay with up to maybe 70, but 50.
All right. So, what is this lifestyle that? Okay, I'm cool with lifestyle, but why is lifestyle so important?
Because my parents lost everything when I was like a junior, senior in high school. And I saw that they now don't have anything later in life. And that's not a situation I want to be in.
All right. So, cool. You want to be able to, but see, fear-based decisions, fear, scarcity, and lack tend
Yeah.
to be wrong-headed decisions.
Yeah.
So great that you're doing well, you're making money, but the kind of men you're talking about don't tend to want to be the woman to compete with them.
No, I don't want to compete with a guy.
Well, when you're talking about 50-50, or you want to be responsible
Yeah.
for 70-30, 70% of the financial load, but are you in a relationship? Are you a submissive woman?
Yes. If it's
Okay.
well, can I preface that or give a little feedback? So what I found that there's a certain type of guy that when I meet him, if he has a certain maybe dominant or masculine personality
So
type, it
conditional
naturally
femininity.
puts me in my submissive.
That's bullshit. You
It's not.
ladies,
That's
it
not
is
bullshit.
it is bullshit. You ladies with this conditional femininity
No,
stuff
it's
got it.
not.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's like saying a man is conditionally masculine.
No.
No. I know what you're saying, but it's bullshit. It's something. It's a new wave concept, and I was with you until that. Because here's the thing: if you've been dating men who aren't on your level or not respond a lot about money, finance. Fine. You get
No.
a guy.
I've dated both.
Well, no. I'm talking about what motivates you, what keeps you up at night. This
Yeah.
man wasn't honest about his finances and this and that. Okay, fine. How much money would you want your man to make annually?
Annually?
Hmm?
At least 150 to 200K.
Uh, and as much as.
And as much as?
Well, because 150, 200K, that puts you in 150,000, puts you in the top 10%. So,
Yeah.
All right,
So I,
but living in
as much
Atlanta,
as, I mean,
living,
millions. I've dated
but
both.
living in Atlanta, a guy making $100,000 by himself he's living pretty nice.
Yeah.
But that's not rich, and
No.
that's not able to live high on a hog. But a man who's making 500,000,
Yeah.
he has different requirements.
Yes. I agree.
He's gonna want a woman who is there for him on his
Yes.
page. So you have your business. Your business is it an interior design?
No, I own an advertising agency, but
Okay, all right. So your business. Okay, well, what will
same thing,
come?
whatever.
What will come first, though? Your
Oh,
business, your child, or his?
his,
See,
and the child.
all right. So here's a problem that many professional women tend to have because whatever your past relationships issues were, I'm gonna ask the same question. Have you sat down with a professional? Had you counseling or therapy?
Yes.
Um,
Pat Allen is who I've done some counseling with.
all right. And then when was your last relationship?
About 6 months ago,
How
seven
long?
months.
How
So
long did that last?
6 months. The one prior to that was 4 years.
And why didn't you guys go the distance?
He was significantly younger and a Peter Pan, and I chose wrong in that situation. So
And
I
how long
left
ago
it.
was that?
I turned 30 when I left that. I just turned 34. So since then, I've had only very small relationships.
All right. So you got to go back to your long relationship. You picked a younger guy,
Yes,
somebody that you could control.
I know.
Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody who could tell you to shut the fuck up?
Yes,
How long did it last?
it lasted maybe 6 months.
Okay. Understand, a high value man, you're going to live and shut the fuck up.
I know that.
You'll wake up and shut the fuck up. You go to sleep and shut the fuck up. You open the refrigerator and shut the fuck up. That's how it's going to be. Shut the fuck up.
I
Because,
understand.
and I'm saying this so people can understand, because high value men, you're it's okay to be a professional woman,
Mhm.
intelligent, educated, and so forth, but you are an asset to him.
Yes.
So having a career in advertising, that could be beneficial to a guy.
Yeah.
But where have you in your adult life actually practiced being a cooperative, submissive woman to a man on that level?
So I would say for me, I just turned 34, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say I started heavily practicing that at 31. I started getting into the psychology of relationships, listening to people much like
Right.
you. I
But
found
you've only
somebody,
had 6 months relationships though, right? The longest one you've had.
I would say yes.
Okay.
And I have only dated two people who I would say are a high value man since then. And I took lessons from them, learned from it. I'm definitely improving on what I need to do. I currently am talking to someone who I think is a high value man. And what's
Are you
interesting is
guys in the same city?
we're not.
Thank you. I know what you ladies are. You're in
Yeah.
the same category. Same thing.
Yep.
White, black, Hispanic, Asian, or other. You're all the same. Pretty professional problem. Look, at the end of the day, these long distance relationships where you keep yourself safe. I'm glad you got your therapy, but you're the kind of
Yeah.
woman I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because if you ladies don't learn how to trust and actually be
Yes.
vulnerable and actually go all in, you're going to miss your window. At
Yep.
34, you've got about another 2 years.
I know.
2 years. And this is when you need to start studying the kind of men you say you want to be with and understand what they want. Because you're competing with all the women around that man, and your competition gets younger, hotter, thinner, more cooperative, more
Yep.
submissive every day because they're listening to this kind of content too, and they got you beat by about 7 years.
Yep.
I would suggest, are you working with a matchmaker?
Yes, I
All
have.
right.
That's the last two matches I mentioned were through a matchmaker, and they were phenomenal matches.
All right.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you're pretty much right down that target area. So you
I'm
might as
putting
well
in effort, I promise. I'm trying.
I know that's the reason I'm going to be doing this because there are a lot of women who fit your category, a lot of black women who fit your category, a lot of non-black women who fit your category. Who the rest of this year you might as well grab a bottle of wine, some Xanax, some popcorn, some tissue, because I'm gonna be talking about y'all.
Yeah.
Because if you learn how to get on board, it's more likely to get the outcomes you want. But eventually, you got to get around the kind of me you're talking about, and you got to risk and go all in. All right,
So
this
that's
is
why I'm
a
moving because the atmosphere where I live, they ain't here. So I'm just like moving a little bit.
you moving to Atlanta. Welcome to a competition area.
That's cool. I'm cool with competition.
All right, thanks.
All right. It was nice seeing you, Kevin. Bye.
That's why I'm like, I'll let you. Hello,
Yes, hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kevin? Thank you for accepting me.
Cool. How old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Okay, we're talking about trust. But what do you got? What do you got? What are you talking about?
Well, I actually did have a question.
Hmm.
So you always say like, when you want like a high value man, like do these things, do certain things, for yourself. And I just kind of like would like a suggestion from you. Like, what do you suggest women do that are working on themselves, that are trustworthy and, feel like they're
You have any
ready for
kids?
something? I do. I have one.
Where's his father?
His father actually passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
Were you guys married?
No, we weren't married.
How old is your child?
He is 7. He's almost 8.
All right. Why high value?
Um, well, I feel like the guys that I guess, been attracted to, or that I've attracted,
Hmm.
just don't really like have a lot going for themselves.
What do you mean?
Well,
First off, did you go to college?
yes,
Did you finish?
yes.
What's your degree in?
Marketing management,
All
and I'm
right.
actually finishing a little bit more, a bachelor's degree as well. But right now, I have a marketing management degree.
So you think because the guys you've been attracting aren't doing what because they're not high value, so they're not good enough, or they're not.
Well, I guess what
What is it?
I'm trying to ask is like, for someone like me who's really trying to work on themselves, that wants to attract a high value man, like what do you suggest I do
But
to?
I want to know why you want to attract them.
Well, I would.
You got to be honest with me. You got to tell me
Okay.
why you want to attract them. Do you want a high value man or do you want a high value lifestyle?
Okay. I guess could you define a little bit of both?
Yeah, a high value lifestyle means you get to drive probably a nice foreign car, live in a nice house, a nice public school, even a private school. You know what this means. A man's making over 6 figures, can afford. You have the option to be able to work from home, be a stay at home mom, these kind of things. That's the lifestyle.
Okay. That does sound great.
But it comes with restrictions.
Okay. So what do you think those would be?
First off, you got to be what he wants, and generally they don't want kids.
Okay.
They don't generally want anybody else's kids. These guys had to become something, and they generally want to start their own families.
Okay. So knowing that now, what do you suggest, I guess personally, like for me, what do you suggest I would do then? Do you
But
say
I don't know
settle
why
or
I don't, what, see, settle, I don't like when women say settle
okay.
because that implies that you're at a higher level. You're a baby mama.
Okay.
So I mean, you didn't graduate from NYU, right?
No, no.
All right. So why would you be settling as a single mother?
Okay, so you're just saying that person just on the same level as what I am.
Yeah. I mean, at what level would you, how tall are you?
I'm 5'5",
Dress size.
like a 4'6",
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
a 145,
Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, you can't use 7. What would you rank yourself? Fresh face out of the shower. Just right here.
an 8, I think. No. Okay.
I would give you a 6, adjustable 6. Cute to pretty.
Okay.
So it's not
Thank
bad,
you.
but it's above average, but it's not way up here. But the problem is you got a kid.
Okay.
And a kid costs you at least 1 point.
Okay.
So you live in what city? Or what state
Yeah,
anyway?
at Washington.
Washington. All right. So you have a marketing bachelor's or you're working towards a bachelor's?
I have an AA in marketing management, and I'm working.
Associates. So you have an associate's.
Correct.
So you have a 2-year degree.
Correct.
working towards a bachelor's in marketing, which, middle income.
Hmm.
So let me ask you a hard question. If you were a an average looking woman in a dress size 10, would you be asking the same questions?
Um,
Would you be asking for the same kind of man?
I, um, I, I wouldn't. I'm not trying to judge someone off their dress size, but I mean, is that what all the
I'm
guys?
I'm saying what I'm asking is if you say you're an 8, okay,
Okay.
but if you were a 5
Okay.
and you were not a dress size 4, you were a dress size 8, a 10, 12,
Okay.
would you still then be saying I want a high value man?
I guess probably not.
No. So you're asking for a man based upon how you perceive your image to be, which is fine. But men look at women and say, all right, she may have the look that I want, but there is another man's child there. And
Okay.
that is a concern, a big one.
Okay.
So you're saying, well, how do I attract this man? Uh, and I'm hearing that you want to attract this man because you want the outcomes associated with his lifestyle. But what is he going to get from being with you? What are you bringing to the table?
I mean, I guess that has a part of it too, but
What
another
is it
part of
though? What is it?
well, another part of it would be as long as you get along with that person, you understand, what they're asking for and
All
what
right,
they
let's say
need.
let's say he has everything you want and more. What is he going to get from you?
I guess it would depends on what he would want from me.
Do you want any more children?
Um, I would want to be married.
Do you want to have any more children
I
and
don't think
marry?
so. No.
All right, so a man, so right there, I want you to understand
Okay.
a man who has to put himself in the top 10%, top 5%, top 3%, top 1%, automatically he has to go raise another man's child, and he does not even get his own biological child.
Okay.
That's a bad deal.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
It's all about you and what you want. This is part of this high value thing. It's made women say, "Oh, I want that lifestyle, but I'm not even willing to give the bare minimum." So let's ask this question. You're 29 with an 8-year-old, and
Okay.
you don't want any more kids. There's a 26-year-old, no child, and she wants 3 children, and she was raised to be a housewife. Why should he skip over her to get you?
Okay. Okay. I see
But,
what you're
but,
saying.
but, but why should he?
I mean, does it not come down to a little bit of personality or a little bit of how you
No,
connect with somebody?
no. No, because no
One's more
personality.
submissive than the other.
Personality doesn't mean shit if he can't get. Men want legacy. You
Okay.
want an unfair deal, man. You want a man to be a stepfather.
Okay, well, let me retract a little bit of my statement on
Okay.
having another child. I think that if, you
No,
know,
man. I'm gonna leave it where it was because that's the truth.
okay. Okay.
I read your body language. You don't want another kid.
Well, I
It's
had to
hard.
think about it. Like, if I would be
Well,
married and I was, if
well,
it was a
okay,
good situation, that
but
I would love
but
to, but I don't, it depends on how
but
old I am as well. If I'm met my
all
husband
right.
at
But the thing
38.
is, you're competing with the women around that man.
Okay.
And
Okay.
see, you can easily understand how to filter out people who are unacceptable based upon the men you say who are unacceptable to you. You say the men I've been dating are not acceptable to me. True or false?
True.
Then the men above you can also say which women are not acceptable to them. They want women who are fit, feminine friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless. You have
Okay.
a child. Then they want to have their own kids. You don't want to have any more kids. And if you do, at best you may get one, but he still has to raise
Right.
that kid.
Right. Okay.
So my question is, as a woman with an average degree, with a child, why can't you just get an average man? What's wrong with what's been going on with average men?
I guess, there's nothing wrong with an average guy. I guess I'm not really, mm, maybe I've been not around the right people, I guess, not exposing myself to the right things, the right people.
What do you mean?
I don't know, maybe just like certain red flags that I'll see. A lot of the times I'll let them slide. And then later I'll just go, ugh, like I shouldn't have done that in the first place. I was just totally wasting my time with this person.
What do you mean, dating?
Right, with dating. That's what I mean.
Where
Yeah.
you find where are you meeting these people?
Like mutual friends, or like the last guy I went on a date with, like I met him at a wedding.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just tell you, just like I tell all ladies, you all can define it or put your finger on what it is you want, but you need to spend 10 times more defining what a man's going to get.
Okay.
Because here's the reality: cute, pretty, attractive women are common. High value men are not,
Okay.
and that's the reality. So, and I want you to understand that there you're supposed to be the cute one of the group, not him. An average man earning average income should be just fine for a woman with a child from another man. That really should be a win.
Okay.
But so when you say settle, I need you to hear what the men are hearing. They're like, oh, wait a minute. I got to take on somebody else's kid. And you settling for me, and I'm a blue collar guy, or I'm a guy who's a white collar guy making middle income.
Okay.
No man wants to be settled for.
Okay. Thank you for that.
All right, take it easy.
Okay. Thank you.
A 34-year-old saying she always controls men in her relationships might sound like power, but in reality, it usually points to a dysfunctional dynamic. Because control isn't the same as influence, and it definitely isn't the same as respect. This is where Kevin Samuels would immediately challenge the mindset, because men who have confidence, options, and a strong sense of self don't stay in situations where they feel controlled. What usually happens is you end up attracting or keeping men who tolerate that behavior, not men who genuinely lead or choose you from a position of strength. So what looks like control is often just imbalance. It's not that you're dominating high-value men. It's that the type of men staying are either passive, temporary, or not fully invested long-term. And that creates a cycle where control replaces cooperation. The problem with that is simple. Relationships built on control don't last, because eventually resentment builds, or the man leaves when a better situation presents itself. Real relationships require mutual respect, clear roles, and a sense of partnership, not one person managing the other.